Our Diamond P camera crews has just measured this line of cars and trucks, and it stretches over 7 miles down the highway. The head of the line terminates at this rapidly filling parking lot. The occupants of all these vehicles in this massive traffic jam are crowding into State Capitol Dragway in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, to see the 5th annual running of the NHRA Cajun Nationals Drag Racing Championships. Miner, the car owner, goes up against his driver, Gary Beck. Beck is in the near lane, Miner in the far lane. The cars look very similar, both running very strong, and it's Miner out first. The blower belt comes off Beck's car. He slows down. Now Miner is slowing and slowing, trying to stop. Can Beck catch him? He does not. What a surprise. Larry Miner wins Top Fuel Eliminator at only 63 miles an hour. We'll be right back to the Cajun Nationals. Cajun Nationals, Steve Evans is with the winner of that unusual Top Fuel race.
Well, congratulations, I guess. It's kind of a bittersweet victory, unfortunately, for you with your battle plan for the year.
Yeah, it didn't really turn out the way I wanted it.
You wanted to have a good race to the lights, but hit him win, kind of.
Yeah, really, and I left. The cars left good together, and this thing was on a good pass, and then I saw Beck drop back, and so I just hit the brakes, really, you know. I mean, I wanted him to win, but...
Blower belt came off his curb much too soon.
I know, and I coasted and beat him. That's not the way I wanted it, but... Well,
you dominated. There's the first two-car team in many, many years to dominate a single eliminator category as you did today, and we congratulate you on that.
We thank you, and we feel good, really. It's
and as Beck said, that trophy will look just as good on your mantle as it does on his.
I guess I can get one. So
it'll be a pleasant trip back to California for all of these guys with the success you enjoyed this weekend.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
A somewhat reluctant Top Fuel champion, Larry Miner.
9.
A team of Kilpatrick and Cannell already staged, and a great start for both cars. Losing traction is Richard Tharp, and Beck took advantage of that miscue, and the wheel, the tire, the car dropping down on the nose for Richard Tharp. He is over into Gary Beck's lane. He pulls back, goes off the racetrack at over 251 miles an hour. Richard Tharp doing a masterful driving job, keeping out of Gary Beck's way. As we go back and watch again, Beck about a car length and a half ahead. Richard Tharp at over 251 miles an hour throws the tire, and then the wheel breaks off, is still attached by the front suspension components. The car drops down on its nose, and the sparks rolling out from underneath the car. From another angle, we can see this wheel just laid back. There he is over into Beck's lane, and Richard just drives it back into his lane. It goes off the racetrack, into the dirt, in the grass, and then back onto the asphalt. A tremendous driving job by Richard Tharp.
Richard Tharp.
8.
Car. It's Johnny Pott and Prudhomme off together. Pott holding his own at this point, and Prudhomme pulls away at the finish with a tremendous charge at the end at 242 miles an hour. But real problems for Johnny Pott in this thing. He spins it out in the shutdown area, the car on fire. The NHRA Safety Safari crew immediately on the scene, spraying it with water. The emergency hatch opens. Here comes Pott trying to climb out of the car. The safety crewman wearing the fire protective gear. He is out of the car. He's standing up. He is okay. It is Johnny Pott nodding to the safety man. He is all right. He walks away from the car. We watch again. You see Prudhomme has a tremendous lead. The smoke starts out of the car. Then comes the fire. Pott is now inside that car. It is blazing away. The parachute behind it burns off at that point. He starts to lose control. Pott begins to waver from side to side. As the flames lick from behind the car, Pott throws the car into a spin in the shutdown area, spins it out, and comes to a stop. Johnny Pott doing a masterful driving job, keeping it under control on the pavement. Steve, what's going on now?
David, as you saw, the John Pott-driven car just exploded just past the finish line. We are on the scene right now, and as you can see, the car is sizzling and popping. We're looking right now for John Pott, and don't see him. There he is. In the orange shirt is John Pott, the black fire suit. He is okay. Got a quick check from one of the members of the emergency crew, but as you can see, there is oil all over the place.
7.
Count on it. Gary Beck never gives up. The 1978 Cajun Nationals. It's Beck in the near lane against Mike Tarter. A car he should easily handle. As they stage, Beck's engine sounds terrific. It looks like this could be Gary Beck's day after all of these hardships. Is Lady Luck along for the ride? Not a chance.
No, Steve. He just lost another engine. Beck's luck just hasn't changed. He's still in that slump. It's a shame to see a world champion, former world champion, go through something like this. He seems to be working it out, but boy, that had to have been, tore up the engine real bad. He lost the rods out of the engine, apparently, Steve, and he had a bad explosion.
Gary Beck? Gary, you okay?
Oh, yeah.
One of the longest lasting top fuel fires I've seen in a long time. What happened?
Well, it appears it pitched a rod out there in low gear, and I left the throttle, and the engine just stayed up at RPM for some reason, and I had the fuel shut off, but it must have got running on some oil and just detonated, and it had a lot of RPM, just kept throwing the oil out. So give all them safety crew guys something to do.
When did you first realize you had a fire?
Well, when I hit my head on the dash, the engine almost quit, but no power. I mean, I didn't realize any fire, but it just certainly knew something was amiss, that's for sure.
So you felt no heat at all and didn't know you had a fire when you got out?
No, certainly with a rear engine dragster, you know, your fire's back there, and you don't realize what's going on, you know, as far as fire or oil or some transmission's breaking. You don't know until you get down here and get out.
In 1981,
over the hill gang car. But just a year ago, it was Brissett and Drake, Jim Brissett and Mike Drake with Kelly Brown at the wheel, taking the 1978 Cajun Nationals top fuel title over Mike Carter of Houston, Texas. Kelly used the Cajun Nationals victory and about 3 more major championship wins to annex the world champion title in 19...
into one of the headers. So it's always squirting a little oil out of the supercharger into the header. It makes it look like the engine is hurt. So it could be hurt a little bit besides all of that. Not so. Look at Garlits. He is driving away from Connie Coletta. It is Don Garlits by a car length. That's 577, 243 miles an hour.
He just keeps on winning. And by the way, Coletta has been on a very strong roll this year as he goes way down the end of the racetrack. No shootout for Connie, but this track is long enough so he brings that car to a halt without going into the men's room there behind the hay bales. So he'll be all right. But let's look at that one more time. That is Garlits. Looks like maybe a little bit of an early leave on Connie. And from there on in, it's Big Daddy all the way. But I'll tell you what, this was some kind of an even drag race. The 2 race cars ran the quarter mile in identical ETs, 577, and it was only that quick reaction time at the starting line that spelled victory for Big Daddy.
Well, Don, that transmission been giving you fits all weekend long.
5,
Professional drag races you'll find anywhere in the country in front of a very devoted crowd. And as maybe you've seen before, we can always count on the Cajun Nationals for incredible action.
Absolutely, Steve, and they started off with a bang earlier today in first round top fuel action. Veteran Hank Andress going against the man, Big Daddy Don Garlits.
And as you'll notice, Andress, the first driver to copy Don Garlits' enclosed cockpit. There's Hank from the New England area driving the John and Shirley Carey car. He's had more success in this car than he ever did in his own. And of course, there's the man, Big Daddy Don Garlits, the living legend in drag racing, who earlier this year exceeded the 270-mile-an-hour barrier. Now, Garlits was in the near lane. We see him here. Hank Andress in the far lane. And it didn't take long after the start for the action to begin. Standing right on in is Hank Andress, and the car crashes to the pavement in the far lane. Garlits goes on to win at 560, 254 miles per hour.
But the big excitement on the run was Andress. And look at this. He's going to head for the alignment shop with that one, Steve. Just smashed the front axles.
4,
Captain Crazy Team from El Monte, California.
The driver of the Bill Dunlap-owned car is Ron Corelli from Otterbein, Indiana. The latest in a long list of drivers, and at the finish line in qualifying, Corelli might have wished he hadn't applied for the job. Look at this, Brock, it just lit up. The engine blew, that is fuel and oil trying to burn the tires and the parachute off the car.
Well, fortunately, the chute stays intact, and that's helping to slow Ron down. Otherwise, he could have been in real trouble. He also manages to keep the car straight. Notice not a lot of fire in front of him, so he can pretty well pilot the car to a stop. Corelli deployed the onboard fire extinguishers, and that, coupled with the 5-layer fire suit that is required in NHRA competition, permitted him to walk away from this bad fire. But you have to wonder how he was able to get this automobile ready for competition. Prior to round 1, Steve stopped by his pits to talk to Ron about the problem.
3,
A red-hot qualifying ride for Billy Meyer in his funny car from Waco, Texas. Meyer exploding an engine as he approached the finish line speed trap, brought the car to a safe and sound halt as he activated the onboard fire extinguishers. The flames licking out from under the car, burning off the parachute. Billy quick on the brakes, bringing it to a safe stop. Working with me today at the Cajun Nationals is Steve Evans. He had an opportunity to talk with Billy right after this fire.
I'm Steve Evans. What you have just seen is one of the most spectacular drag racing incidents in recent memory. It was R.C. Sherman living one of the most frightening experiences that a funny car driver can have. A car completely and totally out of control. As always, the NHRA Safety Safari was on the scene immediately. The jaws of life had cut away the roll cage. The NHRA emergency team administered treatment to an alert but visibly shaken R.C. Sherman. Sherman was carefully moved to the waiting ambulance and on to the hospital for x-rays. Happily, aside from bruises and a sprained hand, he was all right. The same, though, could not be said for the race car. It was a total loss.
Qualifying in Funny Car Eliminator at the 9th Annual NHRA Cajun Nationals Championships. In the far lane, John Collins from Long Beach, California. In the lane nearest the camera, Ed the Ace McCulloch from Sanger, California. Neither driver is qualified. Both men are concentrating, thinking only of performance, not of the possibility of danger. An incredible crash. Ed the Ace McCulloch climbing out of the wreckage of his car. There comes John Collins, crawling from underneath the remains of his vehicle. And in the aftermath of the most spectacular crash we've ever seen, both drivers seem to be okay. Let's take a second look at this almost unbelievable turn of events. In replay, we see both cars leave the starting line side by side. Then, for some unknown reason, McCulloch loses control and slams into the side of Collins' car, forcing McCulloch's machine onto the top of the guardrail on the far side of the track. Collins turns over like a turtle. McCulloch, sliding upside down, crosses back over the track and slams head-on into the guardrail, the fuel tank exploding into a ball of flame, which engulfs both cars and both drivers. As the two cars grind to a halt, the intense heat from the wreckage and fire shimmers ominously as the fuel tank on Collins' car pours raw fuel into the scene of the accident, which miraculously fails to ignite. But as the shock wears off, the drivers meet at mid-track. To our relief, we see that both are uninjured.